Hello everybody and welcome back to the Young Fan Podcast. It's been a while since the last episode of the podcast. Today we're back in it doing a tier list, ranking every single League One captain, all 24 of them, in a tier list system based on their performances this season. Are they getting away with it because they've got the captain's armband on? Are they up to the standards of their teammates? Well, like I said, are we posing that question of, do they just get away with it because they are the captain? A really interesting talking point, and one today that we're going to be getting to the bottom of. It has been a while, like I said, since I did an episode of the podcast. It's been over a week since I did one, probably the longest time without doing a podcast episode ever since I started this about 6-7 months ago now. So I do apologise for that. I had a bit of time off. Had an operation with my teeth. I couldn't speak for a week, which is quite a crucial part of a podcast. So I am back now. My voice is a little bit quieter because I don't. Obviously, it is a little bit painful still, but other than that, it's all good now. It's getting back to it used to be, which is good. But yeah, podcast. Speech is quite crucial in a podcast, and I couldn't do that for a week. But we're back now. No messing about. Let's crack straight on with it. You can see the tier list on the screen right now. Let's have a look at it. Here we are. 5 tiers. We've got poor year, average year, decent campaign, solid season, captain, leader, legend. Some fantastic performances from so many captains as well. We've got some really interesting decisions to be made as well. This is based on stats as well. Like I say, in doing all of these different things, when I look at stats, they can be incredibly misleading. They can be looked at in a very different way, and sometimes they can be looked at in the wrong way. Sometimes they can be looked at in a good light, in a positive light, and it can be seen, it could even make them sound better than they are. Maybe on the pitch they're not as good as the stats are making them out to be, but that's for you to decide. You know your club better than I will. So at the end of the day, I'm an Oxford fan, so I know Elliott Moore, for example, much better than I'm sure a few of you, maybe you're an Ipswich Town, Plymouth fan, whoever you are. But when I'm discussing your captain, this is based on stats. So you let me know in the comments down below. Make it a discussion. I want to be hearing from you as per usual. I'll be responding to all of them as well. Also, making sure you're subscribing is so important. So please do that. All you got to do, it's free, it's easy. Go down below and hit that subscribe button because you don't want to miss out on the content coming up. Like I said, we've had a little time off now. We're back. We're back creating the content. That's what I love doing. I feel good. I feel refreshed, and I'm back to do more exciting content. I got a lot of stuff planned, and please do also keep your suggestions down below of what you want me to do podcast-wise, because I'm always open to hearing from you as per usual. And of course, when you're hitting that subscribe button, hit notification bell as well. That way, you don't have to go and check in your subscription box. It just comes straight to your phone. It comes straight to your laptop. It comes straight to whatever you're watching it on. You get notified. Strap out of the way. So that's all the admin out of the way. Let's get straight into it. Let's get to what we're here for. Starting off with Bristol Rovers. I did this research 1 match week before this is going out or this is being recorded. So there will be probably some stats that may have changed a little bit, not dramatically, but there will be some changes, I'm sure, because a match week has been played. And also this was done. I was actually putting them in. It's in the order of the league table that when I was doing the research. So the league table has changed slightly, obviously in a week's time. And obviously when a whole week of games have been played, there is some changes in that league table. So that's the order I'm going with. But I understand, of course, as of when I'm recording this, and you're going to be watching this as well, there will be a change in the league table, of course. We're going to start off with Bristol Rovers, and we're going with Luke Leahy. Pronunciation is the speech is a little bit of an issue, and also my pronunciation for names has never been great. I'm going to go with Luke. His first name's Luke, but his second name it could be anything. It's a great name. I cannot pronounce it, unfortunately. He's a left back, left midfielder, 8 goals and 2 assists as well. 9 chances created. There's going to be 9 big chances as well. If you don't know what big chances, that's down to expected goals, down to XG. Some people like it, some people don't. It's a little bit like Marmite. You either love it or you hate it. XG. It basically is down to what should be hitting the back of the net, and those 9 big chances are basically created. So he's created 9 big chances. Down to XG, should be hitting the back of the net. 2.2 clearances, 0 errors leading to goals as well, which is a really good thing. Like I said, he's a left back as well. He can play further up the field in a more attacking role, but as a left back, generally, no errors leading to goals is obviously a good thing, and an average rating of 7.02. So for that reason, I think he's had a pretty solid campaign. I'm going to put him in that solid campaign category. We look at that average rating being very good, and some really good stats there for a left back. I'm impressed with the Bristol. They might be bottom of the league as of when I'm doing this, but at the end of the day, he's had a really good season for a captain. Next up then, we've got Swindon Town. Dion, Conroy, I'm pretty sure they have been officially relegated. Bristol may have been as well, but I know Swindon have been relegated, mainly because I'm an Oxford fan. I take a little bit more notice of what Swindon are doing, but they are relegated, I believe, and he is a centre back for them. 0 goals and 1 assist for a centre back, so he doesn't seem to be getting in the act too much from corners and from set pieces for a centre back. You maybe expect that, you'd think that might be the case. He's not, so that's interesting. Pass accuracy in his own half 82%, which is decent, but again, you don't really expect it otherwise. When you're a centre back, you're normally passing either sideways to your fullbacks, or you're not going to be doing massive long passes in your own half anyway, are you? Because they're going to be staying in your own half, so you don't expect that to be too low, and you'd hope that's quite high. And 82% is decent, but an opposition half of 49% is not great. Every other pass is going pretty much AWOL when he's in the opposite on the opposite side of the field. 1.5 interceptions per game as well, and 1.1 tackles per game. 3.4 appearances. Clearances per game, and 1 red card and a penalty being conceded. 60% total duels, so that's duels, that's aerial, ground duels as well, so that's not great either. 60% is not a great ratio when it comes to total duels, and an average rating of 6.62, which again for a centre half isn't that good. So for that reason, I know it might be rubbing salt in the wound at Swindon, but it's a pretty poor year for your man. I'm looking at that there. If you're a centre-back with no goals, it's not crucial, but you'd think, we are now coming to the end of the season. There's only 2, 3, 4 games left maximum for these sides, and you haven't come in the act at all when it comes to set pieces. And again, some stats there aren't looking great. That George one for 60% just isn't good enough in my opinion, and for that reason, that's why I'm putting him in that poor year category. Next up then, we've got the Rochdale man, O'Connell. He's a centre-back and a right-back as well, with 1 goal, 1 assist. It's decent. You don't expect too much from a defender, but again, maybe a little bit more, but I'm not going to blame, 2 goal involvements isn't awful. 3 big chances being created as well, which isn't that bad, down to XG, of course. 78% pass accuracy and 3 team of the week appearances as well. Obviously, that is in that sort of the League One Sofa Score team of the week. That's where I did my research. Really good website to sort of get my stats. That's not how I get the majority of the stats, and they have been the Sofa Score team of the week for 3 times. It isn't that bad, of course. 3 times in there isn't poor at all. 3.7 clearance as well. 6 clean sheets. It's okay. 59% total duels won isn't great. It's a pretty average year, I'd say, for the Rochdale man. A pretty average year. Some big chances being created. 3 of them's not bad. Decent 78% pass accuracy and some good team of the week appearances. But again, those defensive stats, 6 clean sheets, for the majority of the season being played isn't ideal. And also, again, like I said there, less than 60% total duels. That counts in the air and, of course, ground as well. Any duel when you're being pressured, or you're up against an opposition man, winning 59% of the time isn't great. But yeah, that's, I think, average season, average year seems to be a fair place to put the Rochdale man. Next up then, we've got the Northampton Town geezer, Joseph Mills, left back, midfielder, left as well. He can play there. 0 goals, 3 assists as well. 3 big chances being created. Accuracy in his own half when it comes to passing, 66%. 7 clean sheets, 2.7 clearances per game. 61% aerial duels, not awful. 55% total duels, like I said, is actually worse than the others, so it's not great. But there again, some decent chances being created. There has been some 7 clean sheets in there, which is decent as well, and some decent clearances per game as well. So some decent stats to look at there. I'd say it's quite similar to the Rochdale man, and I think average year is quite fair for him. But yeah, I think that's where I'm going to put him. Next up then, we've got the Wigan Athletic man, Jamie Jones. He's a goalkeeper as well, so some very different stats to look at here. 1.6 goals conceded per game, and that's, of course, and when it comes to penalty saves as well, he's saving 0 out of 5 of the penalty saves. So, it's not crucial. I don't think we should be looking too much into sort of penalty saves, because, the goalkeepers have got a big disadvantage when it comes to penalties, but he's got 5 of them. He hasn't saved any of them. It's an interesting stat to look at. He has had 1 error leading to a goal for a goalkeeper, which isn't great as well, and he's had a penalty goal conceded, which isn't great. And of course, 9 clean sheets in 42 games isn't ideal. Of course, his average rating of 6.73. It's not a great year for him, to be fair. It's not a great. It's between poor and average. I'm going to go with... It's difficult. I think he's definitely either average or poor, but some stats there aren't great. I'm going to be nice and put him in average here, because he's a goalkeeper. I don't think we should be too harsh on him in a difficult Wigan side this season. But again, some stats there that aren't great, it's got to be said. Next up then, we've got the Wimbledon man, Alex Woodyard. Centre midfielder, and can also play in that defensive midfield role as well. 1 goal, 1 assist as well. 1 big chance being created. And 78% pass accuracy isn't bad, of course. 1 error leading to a goal, but 51 total duels being 1 for a midfielder. It's a little bit average, it's a little bit, you'd have to probably say on the poor side for a midfielder. You want to be winning a lot in the air, you want to be winning that midfield battle. It's so important in a football game, of course. Winning that midfield battle 9 times out of 10 does potentially lead you to winning the game. If you're not winning those duels in midfield, a lot of the time you're not being so successful. So for that reason, and I know we're leading to goal for a midfielder as well, which is very, very interesting. I'm not quite sure. There'll be quite a lot of reasons why that could be, but for a midfielder, you sort of expect it more from a defender, basically. And also, as well, that average rating of 6.74 isn't great. I'm going to say he's had a pretty poor year, to be quite honest with you. I think he has had a poor year. We look at those stats there. There's nothing outstanding statistically, and also there's some big things there that really suggest that he hasn't had a good year at all. So, sorry, Alex. Is it Alex? Yeah, Alex Woodyard from Wimbledon. But I'm going to put you in that poor year category. Burton Albion then, John Brayford is a defensive player, centre back, right back, but also can play higher at the field in that midfield right role. 4 goals, 1 assist is pretty decent. 5 goal involvements, it's got to be said, it's not bad. 0.5 key passes per game as well. Every other game is getting a key pass off, which isn't bad at all. 51% opposition pass accuracy, not great, but not awful. 1.2 interceptions per game as well. 9 clean sheets this season he's been part of, and 0.4 dribble. He's been dribble past 0.4 times per game as well. That's what he's averaging, so it's not a bad stat to have really at all. And an average rating of 6.81, nothing outstanding but nothing dreadful, so I think you have to put it in the average year, to be quite honest with you. I think when you're looking at it like that, I think he's got to be pretty average. He's got to be pretty average when we look at it like that. Next up then, we've got the Shrewsbury Town man, Oliver Norburn, centre midfielder, CDM as well. 4 goals, 0 assists for a midfielder. It's quite surprising that he hasn't got any assists, but he has got 4 goals, and there's 0 big chance being created, and 1 being missed, which is interesting. 77% pass accuracy, no errors leading to a goal, which isn't bad, obviously. And 32% successful dribbles, 0.8 key passes per game as well, with an average rating of 6.95. Pretty average, nothing great. I'd probably put him in that average year. We haven't got anything in the top category or the middle category so far. We've had a solid season, but then other than that, it's been average to poor. But there's more still to come. There is more still to come, obviously. But yeah, I don't know. I think average year suits the Shrewsbury man quite well. Like I said, again, it comes down to nothing dreadful, but nothing spectacular. And I think if you've got that sort of situation, I think average year suits you best. Next up then, we've got the Plymouth Argyle man, Joe Edwards, a defensive midfielder, CDM as well, centre mid, but also can play on the midfield right position as well, on that right hand of that midfield. 6 goals this season with 2 assists for a midfielder, a bit more, very, very all-round in that midfield, but some good goal involvements, 8 altogether, of course. 4 big chances created. He has missed 3, but 0.8 key passes per game is not bad at all. 74% pass accuracy, that's own half and opposition half again, so that's a really good stat to have. 1.3 tackles per game as well. A 44% total duels won for a midfielder. It's not great, to be honest, and 1 penalty goal conceded, so 1.3 clearances per game as well. But some of the stats there are really, really good, some really positive stats, but then the second half of those stats aren't great at all, and are letting him down a little bit. So I'd put him in that decent campaign for the Plymouth man. I would, Joe. I think I'm going to put him in that decent campaign. If he'd been a little bit better when it comes to his total duels and the clearances and that penalty goal being conceded, maybe a few more tackles per game as well, probably would help him. I think we could have seen him in that solid season category. But there are stats there that, and that average rating of 6.76 isn't as high as it could be. So for that reason, I think decent campaign is the place for him. But he easily could have been that solid season. But there's a few areas there letting him down slightly. But it's definitely not a bad season for the Plymouth man, and a decent season for Plymouth, to be fair to coming up from League 2, it's their first year in League 1 since being obviously promoted. It's not a bad season. It's a mid-table finish, really, isn't it? And I think that's a really good season to have. I mean, they did just recently get thumped 6-0 by Charlton. Oxford beat them last week by 3-1. But generally, all round, it's not a bad season. They do play an attacking style. I like Plymouth. I think they're a really, really good side. And yeah, they're doing quite well. And their captain, he's had a decent campaign, in my opinion. Next up then, Fleetwood Town man, Callum Connolly, centre back, but also play on that right hand side of that right back position. Also can play defensive midfielder and also can play in centre mid. So very, very versatile for the Fleetwood man. 2 goals and 2 assists. He's only 23 years old as well, which I think is absolutely fantastic. A very, very young captain when you look at it, when you compare it to a lot of the others. They're sort of either in the middle of their career, 26, 27, or even in their 30s. But this man, 23 years old, a very, very young man, captain in Fleetwood. 68% pass accuracy, 14 clean sheets been part of as well, which is really, really good. And 4 clearances per game. He has conceded a penalty, but 0.9 interceptions per game as well isn't bad. I'd have to put him in that decent campaign category. For a young man learning his trade as a captain, he looks to have a decent... I don't know if this is his first season being captain. He might be, I'm not entirely sure, but do let me know, Fleetwood fans. But generally, looking at that, he looks to be a really, really good captain. And yeah, I think he's got a lot of, looks like 23 years old. He's got a lot of time to grow, a lot of time to develop as a footballer. And I think being captain 23, it's that responsibility, it's that leadership and that organisation that you need. And I think he's getting that. I think a decent campaign is probably what suits him best. I like the look of Callum Connolly. Some really, really good stats there, and that's where I'm going to put him. Next up then, the Crew, Alexander and Harry Pickering. 3 goals and 1 assist. 7 big chances created. 2 key passes per game. 11 clean sheets in part of as well, which is very, very interesting. 74% pass accuracy. 1.5 tackles per game. 52% total duels. It's not great. It's not awful. 4 team of the week appearances as well, which is very, very interesting. And yeah, I'm very, very interested to see sort of how he's going. But generally, like I said, there some decent stats to look at, some really decent stats to look at. And he's on loan from Blackburn as well. Decent average rating as well, 7.05. Really, really like the look of Harry Pickering. Looks like a really, really good player. For that reason, I think I'm going to put him in that solid season. It is a little bit strange how he's on loan and being captain. It's a lot of responsibility for a loanee. Suggests to me that he's not of an old age as a footballer at all. So that sounds interesting. But again, like I said there, 3 goals, 1 assist, 7 big chances being created. A really, really good set of stats there. A few ones maybe a little bit, that total duels maybe could be a little bit high, but generally some really, really good stats. I'm impressed with Harry Pickering, it's got to be said. Next up then, Doncaster Rovers man Tom Anderson. 2 goals, 0 assists for a centre-back, 76% pass accuracy, 8 clean sheets, 5.2 clearances per game, 1 penalty goal conceded as well, and an average rating of 6.97. So, generally quite a decent campaign. Nothing... I'm going to put him in average, and I'll explain why. I have sort of gone through this before and have sort of roughly put it where I am. But, for Doncaster, they started the season so well under Moore as the manager, and obviously since he left, really, it sort of has gone downhill. But generally, for a centre-back, it's not awful. 76% pass accuracy, maybe could expect a little bit better from him for a centre-back. 8 clean sheets isn't awful, but it's not great, to be fair. And he has conceded a penalty. Maybe could expect... to be fair... I'm looking at it. I am going to put him in a decent campaign. I think I originally had him in average year, but I'm going through those stats again, and I think a decent campaign is fair for the Doncaster man, and I am going to put him in that decent campaign place. Next up then, Accrington Stanley man Seamus Connolly. I think pretty sure that's how to pronounce it. 1 goal, 1 assist, centre midfielder, CDM position as well. He can play in both of those positions. 0 big chance being created and missed. So he's not creating any big chance, but he's not missing any. He is a CDM though. He's a defensive midfielder / midfielder, and he has got 2 goal involvements. Not awful. 76% pass accuracy for a midfielder is pretty good, to be fair. When you think how many passes he's making per game, to get a 76% pass accuracy doesn't seem that bad at all. 1 error leading to a goal and 1 penalty being conceded. It's not great, it's not awful. 60% total duels ones, not great. 60% successful dribbles is okay for a midfielder. He has been sent off, and recently against Ipswich he got a 3 out of 10, and he got sent off in that game. That's where his red card came from. An average rating as well of 6.71. It's not great, is it? It's not great, but it's not awful. But I think it's an average year for the Accrington man, and in a pretty decent season for Accrington. Some stats there look quite good. They were looking quite promising, and then sort of the second half of them were pretty poor. But I think he's had quite a good year. I think an average year suits the Accrington Stanley man there. Next up, we've got Ipswich centre-back and right-back Luke Chambers. 2 goals, 2 assists for him. 3 big chances created for a defenders. Not bad, obviously, but 0.5 key passes per game. Every other pass he's doing a key one, which isn't bad. 14 clean sheets been part of, which isn't bad at all. 1.4 tackles per game. 1 error leading to a goal. Pretty poor, but it's only 1. It's only 1 for a centre-back for a defender. Only, 1's not awful. You obviously want to be trying to get in, trying to be getting none, but 1 for a centre-back and right-back isn't awful. 80 55% total duels for a centre-back, expect a little bit better, and he has been in the SofaScore Team of the Week 3 times, and 6.91 average rating has been what he's got altogether over the course of the season. So some decent stats there, some not awful ones, but some not great ones, obviously. For that reason, I think decent campaign suits him. I think it's been quite a disappointing year for Ipswich. I know it's been quite difficult, sort of with the manager change, but generally you'd expect them to do better. It is looking like it's going to be a mid-table finish, which isn't great for Ipswich when you look at it. But I think decent campaign for the centre back seems to be quite fair. Next up, then, MK Dons man Dean Lewington. There's a left back, centre back, right back, and midfielder as well that can play on the left hand side. 0 goals, 0 assists. You expect maybe one here and there, but he hasn't got any. Fair enough. No goal involvements at all. One big chance being created. 84% pass accuracy, 90% own half accuracy for his passings. Not awful. It's quite good. To be fair, 84 overall is pretty decent. 10 clean sheets been part of as well, which is pretty good. 2.1 tackles per game, 86% successful dribbles, and 0.4 key passes per game, and an average rating of 6.96, so some decent stats there, a decent average rating, and a decent campaign for MK Dons, I'd say, and a decent campaign for their captain Dean Lewington. I'm happy. I like the stats there. I like the look of those stats. I think decent campaign seems to suit him best. Next up, then, we've got the Gillingham captain Kyle Dempsey, centre midfielder and also defensive midfielder as well. 8 goals and 4 assists, so 12 goal involvements isn't bad at all. 7 big chances being created, 2 big chances being missed though. It's not great though. 0.9 key passes per game, 76% pass accuracy, 61 successful dribbles. It's okay for midfield. Like I said, it's not awful, it's not great. And 70% opposition pass accuracy and a 6.98 overall average rating. It's decent. It's not awful. Like I said, I think decent campaign suits him best. Still, yet to have someone in captain, leader, legend. But yeah, for him, I think decent season, some decent stats there. And if you've got decent stats, you're probably going to put in decent campaign 9 times out of 10. And yeah, that's why I'm going to put the Gillingham man. But again, a really positive season for Gillingham, it has to be said. Next up, then, the Pompey captain Tom Naylor, centre midfielder and defensive midfielder as well. 6 goals, no assist as well. It's a little bit strange. He's got 6 goals, but no assist for a midfielder. Slightly bizarre, but there we go. 2 big chances being created. He has missed 1, but 79% pass accuracy is very, very good for a midfielder. 2 clearances per game as well. 1.9 tackles per game and an 88% own half pass accuracy and an average rating of 7.09. He's had a solid season, Tom Naylor. He's got to be putting that solid season campaign. Really impressive him. Some great stats there. Solid season for him. Next up, then, Oxford United captain Elliott Moore, centre-back. 5 goals this season, 3 assists, 6 Team of the Week appearances, which is very, very high. 2 big chances being created. He has missed 2, though. 79% pass accuracy, 12 clean sheets have been part of, which is very, very good. 3.8 clearances per game, no errors leading to a goal, and 65 total duels being won. So, and an average rating of 6.98, so nearly a 7, so close to a 7. I'd say he's had a solid season. I'd say he has had a solid season. I have obviously had the luxury to be able to watch him. Obviously, I haven't been able to see what he's like as an actual footballer, looking at it away from stats. But generally, as a footballer, he is a very, very good centre-half, a really, really good defender. And the stats back it up as well, which is very, very nice to see. It's good to see a player that you watch and you can see he's a very, very good footballer, had a very, very good season. But also, the statistics are backing it up. And that's what we're looking at today. We are basing it off stats. But, I like the look of Elliott Moore. We've had him now. This is probably his first season being captain. Of course, there probably will be a lot of, a lot of examples where there might be other captains throughout the season, but I've gone sort of on the last chunk of games, and I've looked at it over the course of the season. Generally, they have been captain. Obviously, injuries will affect that, and suspensions, whatever. But it's been the first season where Elliott Moore has been captain. It's the first season where he's played week in, week out in the league, and he's taken the opportunity with 2 hands. I'm really, really impressed with Elliott Moore. I like him as a captain, and I like him as a centre back for Oxford United. Next up, then, we've got the Charlton man, Jason Pearce. He's a centre-back, 0 goals and 2 assists, 1 big chance being created, but 1 missed. 6 clean sheets, 3.6 clearances per game, 1 error leading to a goal. It's not awful, but it's not great. 7% total duels, 72% pass accuracy, and an average rating of 6.83. I'd say it's been a decent campaign for the Charlton man. I would. I'm looking at those stats. It's looked pretty, it looks pretty average. It doesn't look awful, like I said. It's looked pretty decent. It's looking pretty decent. They're in the right end of the season, right end of the league table as well. So he's doing something right to be the captain. I like the look of him. I think he looks to have a pretty decent campaign. Next up, then, we have got Blackpool. Blackpool's man Chris Maxwell is a goalkeeper. 1 quarter penalties being saved as well. So that's 1 out of 4 penalty saves, which is not bad. He has saved one of his penalties that he has faced. He's faced 4 of them. 70% successful saves per game, which is very, very good as well. 1 assist, 2 big chances. 1 assist for a goalkeeper as well. He must have some very, very good distribution on him as well, unless he's come up from a corner, headed it across, and someone's tapped it in and got an assist that way. I doubt it. It might have been. I don't know. But, he's either got a great distribution for assist for a goalkeeper. It's a really, really good stat to have. 2 big chances he's created as well for a goalkeeper. I don't know how he's doing it. 18 clean sheets as well. A really good season for the Blackpool man. I'm going to put him in a solid season. For a goalkeeper there, he's got a really, really good set of stats. And I think that's where we should put him. Because, again, looking at those stats, we are basing this off stats, and they're a really, really good set of them. And I think that's where we should put the goalkeeper for Blackpool and the captain, Chris Maxwell. Next up, then we've got Lincoln City. And this was quite difficult to actually find the captain. That was half the challenge. Doing the stats was okay. Sort of researching the players was actually the easy bit. It's actually trying to find out who the captain was. And for Lincoln, they've had quite a variety of different captains. But I've gone with George Grant, mainly because I just love the look of this man. I love the look of this player, looking at his stats. And if we're looking at it, we are looking at him as, are these captains performing very, very well this season? Have they had good seasons? And George Grant has had a spectacular season. He's the first player going captain, leader, legend. He's not just being a great captain, he also looks to be a great leader. He also seems to be having a legendary campaign, which is why he's in that category. Take these stats in. He can play in a variety of positions in that midfield, but also in that attacking role as well. 11 goals and 7 assists, 18 goal involvements for a midfielder. 18 goal involvements for a midfielder is absolutely fantastic. 9 big chances being created. He's been in the SofaScore Team of the Week 9 times. 77% pass accuracy, both in opposition and own half as well. So really, really good pass accuracy. If it looks to be an attacking midfielder as well, taking risks, taking chances, this man has got a really, really good pass accuracy. 1 penalty goal conceded. It's not ideal, but the stats sort of cover that up. 67% opposition pass accuracy and an average rating of 7.62. And I'm pretty sure, I'm going to double check. I think that's the highest average rating we're going to see today, and I think it is. Yeah, it is 7.62. Some incredible stats there. A great average rating. And for Lincoln, they may have had a variety of captains, but that man has certainly been a fantastic player, and he has to be in that first category. He's been top dollar this season. He really, really has. Next up, then, the final 3. We're down to the final 3. We're down to Max Power, Mark Beevers and Lewis Coyle, of course, of Peterborough, Sunderland and Hull. Not in that order, though. Not in that order. Sunderland, though, Max Power going to start off there. A midfielder, defensive midfielder as well. 4 goals, 3 assists, 5 big chances created. One of them he has missed, but a 91% pass accuracy in his own half. 80% pass accuracy. 1 error leading to a goal, not awful, not great. 1 error leading to a penalty as well. 74% successful dribbles, not awful, but certainly not great. 7.02 as well, average rating. It's been a pretty good season. It's been a solid season, I'd say, for Max Power. And Sunderland doing very, very well. Finally, they're getting the rhythm together in League One. They're trying to get themselves out of the league. And I'd say they've had a very, very good season. You've got to have a good captain for that to happen. And that's why I'm going to put Max Power in the solid season campaign. Category. Good campaign, though. Peterborough, then, I've gone with Mark Beevers. A centre-back, left-back, 0 goals this season, 1 assist, 79% pass accuracy, 16 clean sheets, so a lot of clean sheets for the Peterborough centre-back and full-back, 1.9 interceptions per game as well, 4 clean sheets per game, 2 penalty goals conceded, not great, but 70% total duels won. It's not awful, but again, it's not great. 78% successful dribbles, and an average rating of 7 as well. And they are doing very well. They're second in the league. Look like they could be getting automatic promotion. For that reason, he's had a solid season, I'd say. I think he has had a very, very solid season. I'm impressed with Mark Beevers. A good average rating and a good set of stats there. A few iffy ones, but generally he's been a very, very solid player for them. And finally, then, the final player is the Hull City man. A team, another club that have had a sort of a variety of different captains. We've seen a lot of different captains for Hull City, but I've gone with the one that has played the last chunk of games as captain, as skipper, and that is Hull City's man Lewis Coyle, right back this season. Of course, I play on the right midfield as well. 0 goals and 2 assists, 3 big chances being created, 73% pass accuracy. And 1.2 key passes per game. 8 clean sheets as well. 7.1 average rating. A very, very good average rating. Some really good stats there. Some really, really, really positive stats. In what looks like it's going to be a title-winning Hull City team. For that reason, he's in captain, leader, legend. He's had a fantastic season. He has done extraordinarily well in a great, great Hull City team. It has to be said. Looks like they are going to be promoted as well. But that's what I've gone with. That's the final tier list I've gone with. I'm going to run through it really, really quickly just to summarise. In poor year, we've got Swindon man and the and AFC Wimbledon man. In the average year, we've got the Rochdale man, Northampton man, Wigan man, Burton man, Shrewsbury and Accrington player. In decent campaign, we've got the Plymouth, Fleetwood, Doncaster, Ipswich, MK Dons, Gillingham and Charlton. In solid season, we've got Bristol, Crewe, Pompey, Oxford, Blackpool, Sunderland, Peterborough, and in captain and legend, we've got Lincoln and Hull City. So some really, it's quite a spread out tier list is what would be said, but hopefully you enjoy. This is based on stats. Like I said, you know your club better than I will, but that's what I've looked at through the stats. Have they got away because they've been a captain? Have they been a fantastic captain? And have they had a great season to go with it? Hopefully you enjoyed. I'm back. Hopefully sort of the more episodes that I do and the more I sort of get back into the normal rhythm of life, hopefully my mouth will sort of, the speech probably does sound a little bit different, and that is because I can't really move my mouth too much. But at the end of the day, I wanted to get a podcast episode back. I've been sort of desperate to get back making podcast episodes, desperate to be making content back. It's your first time watching him, like I said, please subscribe and leave a like as well. I've been Jack. This has been the Unfan Podcast. Thanks for the patience while I've been away, but I'm back now and we're back making content. What I love doing. I'll see you in a bit.